wealth of information that I have, the wealth of experience that I have with each and every one of you. And I'm so glad you're here. So first of all, I want to introduce myself because everybody may not know who I am, but my name is Tamika and I'm a healthy hair care teacher. I'm a former salon owner and healthy hair care specialist, and I specialize in helping women grow their hair from short to long. That's what I did. And not just long here, but like long, a lot of women were able to reach like their goal of like waist length or hip length and stuff like that. So that was kind of exciting to be able to do that for people. Um, so I did healthy hair makeovers for over 15 years, but I decided to bring my knowledge and expertise to you and teach you how to care for your hair and grow your own hair because it's very important because everybody couldn't sit in my chair, you know, um, everybody couldn't get to experience, you know, being like my hands being in their hair. So I kind of just wanted to branch out and teach people how to care for their own hair. So if you like use the tips and the tricks and the advice and the things I give you and apply them, then you'll be surprised at how your hair will make a turnaround if you're having issues, how your hair will start growing down, you'll start gaining length, all this type of stuff. But you have to apply, the knowledge that I give you. That's the important thing. Applied knowledge is power. So if you implement what I teach you and the advice I give you, then your hair will begin to thrive and grow. So I recently started a line of hair care products that are formulated to moisturize and revitalize even the driest of hair. Because I know in this community, a lot of people complain about their hair being dry all the time. They have issues with retaining length. My products soften, they smooth, detangle the hair like no other product. They're amazing. And of course, I'm going to say that because of my products, but it's true. I've been getting really amazing feedback, on the people who have purchased the product and they really love it. So I'm really excited about that. And I would love for you to check out my products at lengthystrands.com. Okay, so I guess we should just go on ahead and get started with the meeting. All right. One more thing before we get started. I don't understand how I had two meetings going. That's like the strangest thing. My goodness. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. And it's nice to see some faces too. Thank you for getting on camera. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's get started. So you've made a decision to start your hair care journey to finally start taking care of your hair. And a lot of people say that, especially at the beginning of the year, they get like their new hair resolution. They're like, oh gosh, I'm going to do the best for my hair this year. I'm going to buy all the best products. I'm going to buy all the best products. I'm going to treat my hair right. I'm going to wash it all the time. I'm going to condition it all the time. And generally, by the time February, March comes, life happens. And then you wind up being all off schedule and all that type of stuff. But I'm here to help reel you in a sense. I'm here to help kind of encourage you and get you on track so you can start seeing progress in your hair care journeys. Now, I know that everybody doesn't necessarily want all long or flowing hair down their back, and some people just don't want to deal with all that type of stuff. But a lot of people do. But for the people who don't want that, you still want healthy hair, and that's just as important. Okay, um, so what should you do next? So you go to YouTube, you go to TikTok, and you look for all these videos about hair care. That's like a thing that people tell me all the time. I watched this video, I watched this video, and it's just like a whole mash of like overwhelming wealth of information. Being on the internet is good. It can be really good, but then it can be really bad because a lot of times it puts you in a situation where you're like, I don't know where to go. Everybody has different opinions about everything. You have all the hair influencers out here who are telling you about these beautiful products to try. And a lot of times, and a lot of people have realized this, a lot of influencers are just telling you to try these products because, they're getting endorsed, they're getting paid for it and stuff like that. But me, I'm never going to endorse something that I don't believe in. That's just not what I do because, um, you know, my word, my knowledge is valuable, and I want to make sure that you guys, build a rapport with me. I want to make sure you guys build trust with me. And I would never just be like, okay, because somebody's paying me $2,500, just say this product is good, and it's not very good. That's not honest. And it definitely kind of makes people mad when that happens. They go out there and they buy it, and now it's like, oh, I'm not listening to her anymore. So we never ever want to do that. And I know a lot of you guys who probably followed me, like when I was really teaching hardcore in the past, I would always preach like Joyco Moisture Recovery because I use it in my salon, I use it on my hair, and it was one of the most amazing products. I think I actually put them on the map, to tell you the truth. And then a lot of, you know, highly textured hair, people with highly textured hair, they start using those products. So because I talked about it for like 10 years, Joyco. But now it's time out for me to talk about Joyco. It's time for me to talk about lengthy strands because that is my product that I designed. And the reason why I did that is because I really saw a lot of things that were missing in hair care that is on the market. And I decided to put my own expertise and knowledge into my bottles. So that was kind of exciting, that journey, but I'll probably I'll probably tell you guys a little bit more about that journey in other videos, like on YouTube. I posted there. Okay, so you're frustrated. You're not getting the results that you want. You tried everything. So what I want you guys to do is a lot of people, they go just running 50 miles per hour, trying to figure out what to do. But what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to slow down. I want you guys to slow down and really think about just doing a basic routine because you got to start somewhere. A basic routine, and basic routines start where? They consist of shampooing and conditioning your hair. That's where you have to start. So if you can start off with doing that and then doing that on a consistent basis and doing it properly on a consistent basis, once you get that mastered, then you can add on other things, other parts, other steps you retain, like pre-poos, auto treatments, protein treatments, all that type of stuff. Okay. And one thing that I see in a lot of people is this: we don't have patience with our hair. We want what we want and we want it now. But the thing is, if you really look at anything that happens in life, nothing really good that you get in life comes without any type of effort. We've got to start putting in the effort to take care of our hair and take care of it properly. We got to stop wanting things, in a magic pill. We've got to stop wanting things instantly. Our attention spans have decreased so much. And, something as simple as taking a couple of hours to shampoo your hair, like it takes too long. We've got to really learn patience with our hair. We got to learn how to love our hair that grows out of our scalp. We've got to learn um, how to handle it gently and be patient with it on shampoo and deep condition days and even in between. We got to learn how to stop ripping and combing through our hair, which is the number one mistake that I see a lot of people make. Just slow down and be patient with your hair. Don't be ripping and pulling, making sure that you're using the right type of um, combs and brushes. you know, don't be using 5 and 2 combs on all your hair, especially like if you're like, have big old thick hair, all the 5 and 2 combs, all that type of stuff. It's time out for those type of things. We know that we should be using, good products, detangling combs, detangling brushes, and detanglers on our hair and doing those type of things. But what I want you to do next, now that you started your hair care journey, I want you to, whatever products that you decide to use, don't just go throw them away and be like, oh, these products are not terrible just because you use it once or twice and it didn't work. A lot of times, first of all, if you haven't clarified your hair, then a lot of times your products won't work properly either. But also too, sometimes your hair needs a little bit more time to respond to that product. Now, if your hair, you use a product on your hair, for the first time, your hair feels like straw, then I'd be like, But if it's kind of like, oh, the product's okay. I say give it a chance. I mean, you didn't already use a picture of $60, $70 on products, so don't just toss it out just because, just as long as your hair is not breaking anything like that. But I mean, the product's okay. Give it another chance. Your hair might just have to kind of try to respond to you. Yeah. And Priscilla says, I can't hear you. Hmm. Can everybody else hear me? I think y'all can because y'all would have told me by now. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, pay attention to how your hair responds to products and the techniques on shampoo day. So if your hair is feeling vibrant after you've used the product, if it feels soft and moisturized and smooth, and you don't see breakage and you don't see a lot of shedding and stuff like that, pay attention to those type of things. And if it's a really good product and the product is working on your hair the way that you want it to, stick with it. One thing that a lot of people make a mistake of, and I've done this in the past too, because even though I'm a healthy hair care specialist, I was also a consumer in the past, and I would just go buying products because everybody recommended and be like, oh, yeah, I want to use this. Oh, I want to use that. And it's fine to try new products. It really is. There's nothing wrong with that. but don't go searching for the magic product, because a lot of times with hair care, the magic is in the technique. The magic is in the way you handle your hair. The magic is if you apply the products properly to your hair, follow the instructions, deep condition your hair and things like that. A lot of people, they want to skip out on certain steps on shampoo day because they're rushing, or they just don't feel like doing it, or, it takes too much time, this, that, and the other. But the thing is, if you really buckle down and get your routine locked down and solid, it'll go faster because you'll know what to do. It'll go seamlessly because it's a routine and you know what to do next and you've gotten it down packed. I remember back when I was in the salon, like when I was a newbie, like new, almost like fresh out of cosmetology school, when I first started working with natural hair, I remember one time, um, I was doing a silk press and it took me 5 hours to do a silk press. And the person's hair wasn't very long, it was maybe collarbone length, because I wasn't well versed at it at the time. I was a new hairstylist, and so I didn't know how to detangle right. I didn't know how to condition the hair properly. So, um, I could get glide and slip, with the comb and brushes. I didn't know hardly anything. I didn't know that if you leave the hair out too long, that it was gonna, dry out the hair and then you had to wet it again. It was just so many things I didn't know. But that's because I wasn't well versed in it. But once I started, doing more hair and getting more practice, I started developing, routines. I started developing techniques to make that wash day, to make that go faster and more efficiently and more smoothly and come out more polished. And the reason why I tell you this is because it took me practice to get there. And the same with you. Whatever you desire for your hair, it's going to take you practice to get there. Even your wash day routine, it's going to take you practice to get it down packed to where you want it, to be. It's going to take practice to get it down smooth, where it's not taking you 6 hours and it's only taking you 2.5. So just be mindful of all that. Practice, 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 because the more you practice, the better at it you'll get. And then your hair will reward you for it, because you're going to practice being gentle to your hair. You're going to practice taking sections. You're going to practice, putting the products on your hair properly, because a lot of times we don't use enough product on our hair, especially conditioner. I'm not saying like use a whole jar, half a jar of conditioner or half a bottle conditioner, but what I'm saying is make sure that you're using a product so you can get the slip and glide on your hair to make it easier to manage and detangle. And a lot of people, they want to make things easy, but not do things to make things easy. So you got to go through the steps. And sometimes, you have several steps during shampoo day, but just make sure you take your time. Take your time. So, um, yeah. And another thing too, I want to say is a lot of times people, they want to compare their hair to other people and they try to make their hair into something that it's not. Don't do that, because the only hair that you have is the hair that's growing on your scalp. You can't change it. So you have to work with it and figure out what it likes, what it dislikes. Don't compare your hair to somebody else. And another thing too, a lot of people go online, they'll be like, oh, that person has the same hair type as me. That person's hair is exactly like mine. No, it's not, because God created us uniquely. We are each fearfully and wonderfully made. So nobody is the exact same, and no head of hair is the exact same, because you could have that person who has hair that is seemingly like yours, but then your hair hates the product they recommend because it's something different going on. It's something different. We don't know the whole of everything that everybody does to their hair. We don't know what diet they have. We don't know what lifestyle they have. We can't actually physically look at the hair and touch it. So it may seem like, it's like your hair, and you buy the products that that person recommends and your hair hates it. And you're like, well, what did I do wrong? Because everybody's head of hair is unique. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Don't be comparing your hair to somebody else. Work with the head of hair that God has given you. Okay. All right. So I want you guys to start looking for products according to hair porosity, not hair type, because just like I said previously, the hair typing thing is just so confusing and all that type of stuff, and it's really not beneficial to people. It really isn't. But knowing what your hair porosity is going to save the day, because you have low porosity, medium porosity, high porosity. And once you figure out what your hair porosity is, you can start doing techniques on shampoo day and after shampoo day that will be beneficial to your hair and keeping your hair healthy. You can start finding products that work better for your hair according to its porosity. Now, generally, most time it's not necessarily always about the products, but sometimes it is depending on, certain things. Like high porosity hair is definitely going to need, products that are a little bit heavier because the cuticles are open in high porosity hair. And so high porosity hair tends to dry out a lot faster. And so you have to constantly add products in it to keep it from drying out all the time. But whereas low porosity hair, the cuticles are like closed shut, like really super shut. And so you have to find products that help open up, the cuticles, or do techniques to help open up the cuticles so, the moisture and the nutrients can get in there. So, but once they're in there, because once you close the cuticles again, then it's locked solid. So you have to really be mindful of that. But generally, like a good set of products will work for all hair types, and it just runs into the right technique for your hair. So don't overwhelm yourself, you know, with the whole hair typing thing. It's more about porosity. And if you guys don't know how to figure out what your hair porosity is, I can certainly like do a class on that at another time, but you can also search on the internet how to figure out what your hair porosity is. Most people don't know, they think it's one thing, but a lot of times it's another. But make sure if you do decide to do the hair porosity test or anything like that, to make sure your hair is clean, or if your hair is not clean, you can just, take a piece of hair that's shed and you can wash that particular piece of hair and then do the test. That way it can, let you know for sure exactly what your hair porosity is. Okay. And since texture hair is so dry, it's dry by nature. It just is. you know, Look for products that say, dry hair, that are for dry hair, or products that say, they infuse moisture in. That's going to be very beneficial to, helping your strands, stay hydrated longer after shampoo day. And of course, that's what my products are designed to do, infuse moisture in. The number one thing I hear people say, after their hair has been washed with the products is, my hair's never felt this soft, or my hair's never detangled so easily. I love that because that's exactly what I want people to say. Okay. Um, Make sure, wait a minute. Yeah. So make sure that every time you do a shampoo day, to deep condition your hair. Now, if you wash like several times a week, I wouldn't recommend doing that because you don't want to over condition your hair. I would just do it once a week. If you some people do, they like sweat in my scalp, so I need to wash my hair more often. I've seen people wash their hair 2, 3 times, but I wouldn't deep condition it every time if I did it that often. But if you wash at least once a week or once every 2 weeks, and some people even stretch it to a month, going ahead and make sure you deep condition your hair every single time. And make sure you're using enough shampoo. A lot of these bottles, they be like, use a quarter size amount. That ain't enough. We have big old thick hair. We have full hair. We need more than a quarter size amount. Maybe we need 4 quarter size amounts. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah, make sure that you deep condition your hair every single shampoo day. It's very important. If you don't know how to deep condition, the only thing you have to do is, put the conditioner onto your hair and then put a plastic cap on, or either you can sit under the steamer without a plastic cap, 25 minutes, and you'd be surprised how well your hair will do with that process. It's amazing. It's a game changer if you're not doing it, deep conditioning. And I know a lot of people who don't do it still to this day, even though you can go on the internet and you see people talking about deep conditioning and stuff. It's a lot of people still don't do it. I don't have time, so they just rinse it out immediately. And one thing I want to tell you too, and other people are confused about this. Okay, whenever you have a product and it says deep conditioner on there, deep conditioner is not a product. It's a process. I want to get that straight. It's a process. You're like, oh yeah, because people call this deep conditioner all the time. I call it deep penetrating conditioner. It's a process. It's a process of infusing the moisture deep into the strand so they can get nourished and hydrated and not break and not be damaged. It's not, because the thing is about, especially since I've been a chemist the past like 3 years, there is nothing in products that make it a deep conditioner, because you can have like a thick creamy shampoo, I mean a thick creamy conditioner like the one I have in my brand, and then you can have one that's not so thick, and you can look at the ingredients and compare them, and they're pretty much the same. They're pretty much the same. It's about what you do with the product that makes it a deep conditioner, not the actual product. Now, I will say that some conditioners have different benefits and stuff like that, because you have some conditioners that are lighter that can be like a leave-in conditioner, or some conditioners that are lighter for people who have finer hair. They don't need all the heaviness and stuff like that. Though, like the viscosities of conditioners, they do vary according to what the hair's needs are. But that same conditioner that is not super thick, like the Joico Moisture Recovery, that was like a pore conditioner. And I deep condition with that on a regular basis. And my clients' hair flourished. My hair flourished using it. And I'm sure a lot of other people's hair flourished using it, because everybody would always contact me back and say, Tamika, I love it. You know? So it's a process, not a product. But you're going to hear people say that all the time. I bought a deep conditioner. I bought a deep conditioner. No, you bought a conditioner that you're going to use to deep condition your hair. So I want to revamp that, but it just is what it is. Yeah, so just take that into consideration. So, and then you can do a light protein treatment too, but that's not something you do every week. If you do a light protein treatment like the Joico K-Pack or something like that, which is one of my favorite ones, you could do that like every other week. But if you're doing more heavier proteins, I would stretch it out like 6 to 8 weeks. The ones that kind of get hard on your head and they have like the heavy, crusty protein on there and you can smell it. You know, um, I would recommend only doing that maybe every 8 weeks. But hair might not even need it that much if you are not putting any type of chemicals like color on your hair, or relaxers, or uh, like straightening your hair. If you're not doing any of those things, you're wearing your hair in natural styles, you don't have to, if you're not putting heat on it, then you don't have to do those heavy proteins as often. Proteins are pretty much, because our hair is made of protein, so proteins are pretty much used to rebuild the hair, when it's been damaged. So you don't have to constantly use protein. Now, if you are starting to experience maybe a little bit of, you know, um, moisture overload, then you would balance that with protein. Because some people, they do over condition and their hair feels kind of like overly soft. And then when you take a strand and pull it, it's just kind of like really like stretchy. Yeah, then you would need to go in with the protein to kind of balance that out. But if you're not doing protein treatments at every shampoo, uh it's not going to be that big of a problem. One thing I will say is this: if you are doing any of the strong protein treatments, be sure to follow up the protein treatments after you rinse it out of your hair, to follow up with a highly moisturizing conditioner. A highly moisturized conditioner, not just no play, light conditioner. It needs to be a highly moisturizing conditioner, because it's just something about the super duper protein conditioners that make your hair brittle. And if you don't moisturize it immediately with something that's highly moisturizing, you will experience breakage. So just be mindful of that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I don't want you guys to focus on like methods and techniques that are supposed to help grow your hair faster. That's one thing that I know a lot of people do whenever they start their new journeys, their new healthy hair journeys. They want to look up every video, to figure out what's working, what's going to help get their hair, help grow their hair faster. That's a mistake that people make. They focus on fast hair growth instead of focusing on healthy hair. Because the thing about, focus on healthy hair is that the length is going to come if you're taking care of your hair and if it's healthy and thriving. The length is going to come. It's just part of it. That's just what's going to happen. It's just a natural progression. So don't be out here jumping on the bandwagons. There's so many videos out there with all these different type of oil concoctions, and they show you these thumbnails, with the people with the hair all down their back, and they're like, if you use this, then in 6 weeks you'll have hair to here and all this type of stuff, and put this oil on your scalp every single day, and the growth will be wild, and just all types of stuff. And with me being a YouTuber, I kind of know what's going on, behind the scenes with that type of stuff. And I try to really steer clear of that as much as possible. And I understand that people, they want to keep content going, and they want to kind of shock people into looking into the video, because the more shocking, the thumbnail is, and people will click on it and be like, what's going on? But then when you click on it, just like, oh, they kind of said that like 2 weeks ago, it's the same thing, like recycled over and over again. So, and not really teach you anything, just kind of like showing you what to put on your scalp and showing you recipes and stuff. And that's all fine and good and great because, some of that stuff, in a sense, it does work because it helps the oils will absorb into your strands. The oils will, whenever you're doing the scalp massage and stuff, then you get the blood flow and all that. And it does help with growth. But people focus so much on wanting to get like 6 inches in a month, that they don't focus on actual hair care and all that time that you're trying to focus on getting, you know, this faster hair growth, you could have been focusing on hair care. And a lot of times when you jump on too many of those bandwagons that promise you faster hair growth, what happens is they backfire. And in the salon, I saw that so many times. I had to do so many cuts on people that tried to do all these methods out here. And they'd be like, Tamika, I tried this, I tried that, I tried that. And I'm like, well, oh, it didn't work. They wound up having to cut their hair. And I've done big chops because of things like that. So I say stay away from bandwagons, or if it's something you want to try, just try the one thing and see how your hair responds to that. If your hair responds well, you can keep doing it, but don't be trying, something new every other week, in search of, the magic pill that's going to get your hair to waist length in a year. That's not possible. One thing I will say is be patient with it. Take care of your hair properly. Use the proper products, the proper techniques, love on your hair, help it thrive. It's going to start growing down your back. And people are like, oh, it's going to take too long. But the thing is, time passes anyway. So why not be patient with your hair? And as time passes, your hair will grow too. And before you know it, you'll be looking down and your hair is down to your bra strap or your waist, you know? So just, I'm here to help people revamp how they think about hair care because everybody wants everything in an instant, but nothing about us is instant. You know, if we want to get healthy, we can't do that overnight. We can't just all of a sudden just cut everything out of our diet and just start eating healthy from the start. We have to take things in baby steps, so they'll stick. And it's like that with hair care. Take things in baby steps so it'll stick. So you can develop a rock solid routine that your hair loves, that your hair thrives with. So it'll stick and you can use that routine time and time and time again, and it'll be flawless and it'll work. And then you'll start seeing the results. Okay. So yeah, no bandwagons. And if you do decide to do something like rice water or some of these growth oils or whatever else is out there, I can't think of a whole bunch right now, but if you decide to do any of that stuff, you know, just watch out how your hair responds to it. Don't do it. If your hair responds badly to it, if it doesn't respond in a good way to it, stop doing it. Don't keep doing it thinking that it's going to benefit your hair. Don't do that. Yeah, because I've just seen too many horror stories because people are like, but they said it worked. But a lot of times what happens with people too, and I'm gonna say this, a lot of times what happens with influencers too, is because most influencers aren't professionals. Okay. You guys, or you know, here with me, and I'm a professional, so I have a little bit more knowledge um, because I've worked with various hair types, not just my own. I'm not giving you knowledge and information just off of my hair type. And that's what happens with influencers. They just know what their hair does, what their hair responds well to. And their hair might respond very well to whatever that technique is, but you do it on yours and it's a disaster. But a lot of times people trust, influencers so much, which is great because a lot of them, they're not out there trying to like hurt or harm you or anything like that. But a lot of people just don't realize that everything doesn't work on everybody's hair. So we have to be mindful of that whenever we choose, techniques that we want to try out. You can even do like a patch test, just to be sure, so you don't want to break off all your hair trying to do, I don't know, a max hydration method or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Do a patch test for a little bit and see how your hair responds. Feel it. Is your hair soft to the touch? Is it pliable? Is it bouncy? Is it springy? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just be mindful whenever you try any new thing like that, any of those bandwagons, if you absolutely must try them, do a patch test. Do a patch test. That way, if something happens, if something pops off, you won't lose everything. I just watched the video recently, and it was a young lady who had really beautiful hair, and it was like bra strap length, and she was relaxed. You don't see a lot of relaxed ladies nowadays, but her hair was relaxed, and she used a product on her hair, and her hair started literally after she put the conditioner in. it started matting up really badly. Now, I watched the video of her doing it, and I didn't see that she did anything wrong. So I don't know what was up with that, but she wound up having to get a lot of hair cut off. So I don't want those type of things to happen to you guys. I don't want you guys to have a lot of good progress and you decide to use something new, a new bandwagon or something like that. And then all of a sudden it's like, I had a 6-month setback. I don't like setbacks. It's not cool. It's not cool. Yeah, and setbacks, they can really like put you in a dump, especially after you've grown your hair longer, you know. Well, setback is terrible regardless of what length you have. But it's just, I don't want you guys to have that. And that's why I want you guys to keep coming to these classes because I'm gonna really like drill it in and teach you how to really care for your hair properly. Okay. All right, so I want you guys to find a simple routine that you can do consistently. Okay. You don't have to add all these steps, just like I said in the beginning. Find something simple, and then you can add steps in later. Simple routine. I'm gonna put it out there. Shampoo, deep condition, quite possibly a leave-in if you need it. And then you can style your hair however you want. If you style your hair natural, you can moisturize it really well and then style it. If you straighten it or something like that, and then just use some oils on your hair. But yeah, find, you know, something that you can be consistent with. I know a lot of people have busy lifestyles and stuff like that, and a lot of people will neglect shampoo in their hair because they don't have time. But make time for your hair. Put it in your schedule because we make time for things that we want. So if you start this new hair care journey and getting your hair to where it needs to be is important to you, you need to put it at the top of the list, in the top two, three, of your priorities because our hair represents us. That's one of the first things that people see. If it's looking not so kosher, if it's looking broken and damaged or unkept and stuff, not only do people kind of look at us a little bit weird sometimes, you know, but it can also affect your self-esteem. And I'm not saying that you should, be like my hair, my hair, my hair. And the thing is our crown and glory. So we need to take care of it. Let it be a good representation of what God made, what God gave us. Okay, so take care of your hair. It doesn't take a lot of super effort. I mean, we sit around and we, watch YouTube videos, we watch television shows, we go to movies, stuff like that. We make time for those things, but we need to make time for our hair as well because this is all we got. We don't get new. We don't get new. So find a way to be consistent in your hair care routine. Now, if you can't find time to do it once a week, then find time to do it every other week. But fit it in there. I do know some people that they can stretch their hair, their wash day out, their shampoo day out to once a month. They can do that, without any adverse, effects, but everybody can't. But just find some consistency and you'll start seeing your hair really, thrive because hair likes routines. Hair does like routines. So just make sure, you know, yeah, if you decide to do it once a week, maybe every Friday, you find a couple of hour block and do it every Friday, you know, or every 2 weeks, do it every Saturday. I don't know, just whatever works for your schedule, whatever works best for you. Um, so make sure too, once you start with your simple routine and start being consistent, that you pay attention to how your hair responds to the products, how your hair responds to in between shampoo days. Because a lot of times people, they'll shampoo and deep condition their hair and then they won't do anything else until the next shampoo day. And that might work for some people, but for most people, it does not because our hair is dry. Okay. So in between shampoo days, you need to make sure that you're adding more moisture to your hair. So if you are wearing natural styles, of course, you can use like water-based, things to moisturize your hair. But if you're relaxed or if you're straight natural, you're not going to use that type of stuff because it's going to make your hair revert. So you need to find things that are like oils and serums and stuff that you put on your hair if you're a straight natural or relaxed. And make sure too that you especially pay attention to the ends of your hair. A lot of times people, when they moisturize, I can go over that. A lot of times when people moisturize, they get everything in their hands and they'll just like moisturize the top of their head. That's the newest part. That's the newest part. That's the stuff that's grown. That's the stuff that's only like, a couple, 2, 3 months old. We need to get on the ends of our hair where it's like a year old and 18 months old and 2 years old and make sure that we're moisturizing that. Okay. And not just like the tips of it. We want to go all the way up the strand and moisturize. We have to keep the end soft and supple because when hair is dry, guess what happens? It breaks. So we want to try to infuse moisture in our hair as much as possible. Infuse moisture into our strands as much as possible. Keep our hair moisturized as much as possible. And that's why shampoo day is so important because shampoo day is when you get the most moisture applied to your hair. You get the nutrients from the conditioner absorbed into your strands. All the benefits of that. So that's why shampoo day is so, so, so important. But make sure in between some people may have to moisturize every day. I know back in the past, I used to have to moisturize every single day. Some people can go once a week, twice a week, or whatever, but don't be making excuses. Oh, I just got my hair done. I can't moisturize because I'm gonna lose my swing. But do you want healthy hair? If you want healthy hair, you have to make them sacrifices. Okay? You have to make the sacrifices. Yeah. So, um, fine products, depending on what you're doing, creams, oil, sprays, that work well with your hair. If you're straight natural, use oils that absorb into the strands. Let's see, coconut oil, uh, avocado oil, grapeseed oil, jojoba oil are really good oils that you can use, that will absorb into the strands and help moisturize the strands. I know a lot of people say, oils aren't moisturizing, but our hair is lipophilic, so our hair likes oils. Our hair loves oils. That's why we do so well with oils and greases and stuff on our hair more than any other race because our hair loves it. Yeah, and you should use them. Yeah, our hair likes, you know, yeah. Okay, so yeah. So I don't want you guys to fret about this whole thing. It's not difficult. It's just that you need somebody to steer you in the right direction. A lot of times people do get overwhelmed and they don't know what to do and they do too many things. So don't fret about that. But I'm gonna get to the questions in a minute. Um, Getting your hair healthy can be trial and error. It can be, but that's just like with anything. Cooking a new recipe can be trial and error. Sometimes you burn a little bit first, or like with hair, you might try a product in your hair, it's just like, it's just okay. It's trial and error. So, take your time and figure out what products work best for your hair. But if you remain consistent and trying, and then finding the right products that your hair loves and enjoys, you'd be surprised how quickly your hair will gain length and then start inching down your back. Because that's what my ultimate goal is to see all y'all over here and look Rapunzel up in here, you know what I'm saying? But everybody might not want long hair, but I specialize in the long hair thing. Okay. But yeah, so that's all I have for you guys as far as the class is concerned. I want you to make sure to go check out my website, lengthystrands.com, and check out my products. I'm so excited about that. They work wonders for people with super dry hair who just struggle on wash day. Yeah, definitely. And they definitely help revitalize my hair coming back from my hormone replacement therapy disaster. My hair was coming out in clumps, but with a whole bunch of techniques and stuff and using my products, it definitely helped get my hair back to almost normal. But yeah. All right. So I'm going to take a look at the chat and see what questions we have over here, and then I'll answer those. And if anybody wants to come on the mic, just raise your hand and then I'll call on you. Okay. So Crystal says, not sure if you went over how you can tell if your hair is dry. Um, Generally, you can tell if your hair is dry by touching it. If it feels dry to the touch, then generally it is dry. Or if it sounds crunchy or something like that. But if you see extra strands on your shirt or extra strands in the comb, a lot of times that's indicative of dryness as well. So that means that you need to really like focus on adding some moisture in. But yeah, so just kind of pay attention to your hair. But if it's like super dry and crunchy to the touch, then it's probably dry. And if you waited too long in between your shampoo days, a lot of times more than likely it's probably dry. So yeah. All right. So Hazel says, how often do you recommend using oils? Well, it really depends on your hair. So in between shampoo days, depending on how dry your hair is, you know, you might have to use oils on your hair every single day. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, you know, or you might be able to get away with it just a couple of times, during the week. So you kind of just have to feel, you know, how your hair responds to it. Like if you oil your hair one day and then the next day it's just like, oh, it's still good. And just skip that. And then, you go another day and it's like, oh, it's still kind of good. So skip that day. But then the third day it's like, I think I need to replenish that, then go on ahead and do it then. So just spread it out according to how your hair feels. But once you really get to know your hair, and when I say pay attention to your hair, really pay attention to your hair, how it responds. Like, you know, touch your hair, look at your hair. Do you have a lot of splits and things like that? Touch your hair. After you've applied a product, touch it and feel it and see how it responds to it. You can keep like a hair journal. I use such and such product. I use Lengthy Strands shampoo, and this is how my hair responded to it. You can keep a hair journal. So if you do decide to use new products, you can put in there how your hair responds to it. You can make a video. That's my thing. I like to make videos and see how your hair responds to it. But if your hair, generally most people, if their hair responds really well to a product, they don't need to write it down. They just be like, I'm using that again. That's how most people roll. But keep a hair journal on how your hair responds to certain things. Touch your hair, feel your hair, look at your hair, see, what's going on with your hair. Comb through your hair, inspect your scalp, run your fingers through it, see if there's excessive hair coming out, just all types of things. Just make sure, that you're paying attention to what's going on with your hair. So if there's anything that's wrong with your hair, you can stop it before it gets too bad. Okay. Bobby. I have had thinning at the top of my hair. My stylist has been using Deca Scalp therapy on my hair, and I have seen some improvement. I'm on a cycle. I go 4 weeks and then every 2 weeks. Should I still get a deep conditioner even though I'm going through this treatment? I do. I do always recommend doing a deep conditioner. I've never heard of Deca Scalp therapy. But I'm definitely gonna look that up. I've never heard of that, but I always recommend deep conditioning because the thinning issues come from whatever's going on with your scalp and your hair follicles. And so those are being treated, but we need to make sure that we also treat the entirety of the hair. Okay. All right. Hazel, what do you recommend for hairline edges regrowth? Okay. Number one thing, scalp massages. And I'm gonna do a video on how to properly scalp massages. I'm gonna tell y'all something. The thinning and hair loss that I had, literally my hair was coming out in big, huge clumps. The type of scalp massages that we do on a regular basis are not the proper ones, the ones that we think are working. So I'm gonna do a video on how to show you. I'm gonna show y'all how to really do it to get the results. Yeah. So there was also this other thing, ORS Temple Balm was a product I used to use on Tiara's hair when she was having some issues with her edges thinning. But that was another one. And Jamaican Black Castor Oil is another good product for that. And just make sure that you massage it in, and you might have to use it daily, do it daily to start seeing the results. And because, yeah, so yeah. Okay, Crystal, for hair around the edges that was lost, do you think that light therapy can help? The thing is, there's not really like any like major studies or anything on that. I've heard people say they've gotten good results from it. Oh, but one thing I can say is I would say blood flow more than anything might help bring that back. Because I was watching a video from a trichologist, I forget what his name was, but he was saying that hair can come back. Like if you even have like 5-10% of any type of thing left in your hair follicle, it can be revitalized and come back. So I thought it was very interesting. So a lot of people, who are suffering with hair loss and stuff like that, it's not hopeless. Back in the day, we used to think it was hopeless when people went bald and stuff. But when you start getting hair flow to your scalp and you start using the right things on your hair, the right products on your hair, you start actually seeing it grow back in. Because even me, lately, because of my hair issues and stuff, I started taking more vitamin D. Vitamin D is beneficial for, helping your hair, be healthier, grow and healthier and thicker and all that type of stuff. And it actually helps you sleep well too. But I started noticing little hairs pop up around here that I'd never seen before. I was like, I've never seen hair there. But I started seeing hair pop up. I was like, what is this? Now you can't see it because it's gray, because I didn't see it for the longest time because it's gray. But I looked in the mirror one day, I was like, so try to put some vitamin D up in your your daily routine. I take vitamin D every single day in the morning time, and it definitely has helped my hair, come back from some of the hair loss that I was suffering with. So yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. And I think a lot of people too, it'll help them edges, and take hair vitamins too. Hair vitamins are so beneficial, but it's got to be the right ones. You can't just take any hair vitamins. Everybody got a hair vitamin. Everybody has a hair vitamin, but is the hair vitamin pure and potent? And, does it really absorb into your system, or is it just a bunch of fillers? You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of stuff that people, say, hey, I just made a hair vitamin. So yeah. Um, so yeah, the light therapy thing, I could not tell you. I've never worked with it. I don't know anybody who's ever worked with it, but I say scalp massages and get in there and just be consistent, and you might start seeing some stuff. Take some hair vitamin stuff. All right. Okay. So I guess I probably need to go on YouTube and see if anybody has any questions. All right. How often do you recommend deep conditioning? Every shampoo. All right. What are some brands of highly moisturizing conditioner? I'm just going to put a plug in for mine. Lengthy Strands. LengthyStrands.com. This conditioner is, I'm telling y'all, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I used it for like a year before I even, you know, told anybody about it. Yeah. All right. Hello, Cindy. Okay. How do you hope open up your hair cuticles? Apple cider vinegar rinses are great for that. And then very warm water and steam. They will open up your hair cuticles. Okay. Gracie. In order to prevent moisture blockage, how often should you apply twisting creams in between wash days? You're welcome, Denise. In between wash days for twist out styles. Because it's a twist out style, you probably don't have to do it as much because you don't want to like make it do that reverty thing that twist out styles do. So you might be able to get away with it once a week, maybe twice, something like that. But just kind of gauge your hair and see exactly what your hair is doing with it before you. But yeah, you wouldn't want your twist out to revert and then just start looking like a fro. Then you'd have to put it up in a bun. Okay. Yeah, it's so good to have everybody on. I'm so like, oh gosh, back at teaching class. I'm so excited about that. So does anybody have any more questions or comments or anything? Oh, wait a minute. No, no, no. What makes your hairline different from the rest? You know what? I never really researched that. But one thing I can say is that our hairline gets the most manipulation. It does, because we put our makeup on, we wash our makeup off, we wash our face, we touch our hair, we put our hats on, we put our bonnets on. Yeah. But so you said I meant your hair care product line. Da, 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 da. I don't understand that question. Can you elaborate on that, Crystal? Yeah. But yeah, my hair care product line, while I'm waiting for her to respond, I have it sitting right here. So I have Mega Moisture Detangling Shampoo. This shampoo softens the hair. It detangles the hair. It is a detangling shampoo. You can literally detangle your hair with the shampoo on. It's amazing. It softens it and it smells good. My products smell good. They don't smell medicinal. They smell more fruity, like a light fruity scent. It's not overpowering. That's one feedback that I got from a lot of people. It's just enough scent in it. But it has silk amino acids in it. It makes your hair feel soft. It makes your hair feel conditioned even after you shampoo. And it's nice and creamy and thick and rich. And then I have my Mega Moisture Deep Penetrating Conditioner. This is my baby right here. She helped me get back on track. But yeah, it's like a nice, thick, creamy conditioner. One thing I can say about this is that it will knock out your tangles in your hair, point blank, period. It will soften your hair, point blank, period. It makes your hair feel smooth, hydrated. And whenever I use this, whenever I deep condition my hair with this, a lot of times I don't have to moisturize my hair for a few days afterwards because the moisture infused so deeply into the strands. I absolutely love this conditioning product. It's amazing. I I just yeah. Okay, and also I have a multi-use hair oil. You can use this on your hair. You can use it on your scalp. You can use it on your hands. You can use it on your cuticles. You can use that hot oil treatment. It smells good. It's light. It's a light oil. It's not really super heavy. You know, it's not gonna like super weigh your hair down or anything. You can use it every day. And then I'll also have this is my Silken Shine Serum, and this is a heat protectant to use on your hair before you blow dry. And it smells really good, and it really protects and softens the hair. Like you'll feel like your hair is softer after you use it. So yeah, yep. Okay, so those are my products. Okay, let's see. Oh, what makes your hair care line different from others? Well, my hair care line is formulated by me. I am a healthy hair care specialist who grew hair for over 15 years. And so all of my knowledge and expertise and all the problems that was trying to solve while I was in the salon, I put all of that into my products to make your shampoo day easier, to make your shampoo day not take as long. A lot of times when I was in the salon, some people would come in, and because I work with a lot of thick hair, people would come in and it would take me an hour to detangle their hair before we could even go to the shampoo bowl because I did not have the right products to work with. But when I developed my own conditioner, it literally can and will cut your detangling time in half. It will soften your hair. It will hydrate your hair. It will revitalize your hair. It will make it feel like butter. It's a really good conditioner. Okay. So that's what sets it apart. I put my expertise into my conditioners, my years of expertise, as compared to me just going with somebody who can private label and I just put my name on it. These products were expertly formulated, me in a lab together. This is me in this bottle, you know. So yeah. Okay. Okay. You spoke of the protein treatments that leave your hair crunchy. What are some of the lighter ones? Oh, well, my favorite one was a Joyco K-Pack. Um, I think it's just called Joyco K-Pack, the one that smells like bananas and cinnamon. And then the other one was the Redken Extreme Cat. They put extreme in there, but it's not really heavy. Yeah, those are two really, really, really good ones that I used in the salon on a regular basis that I got great results from. Okay. So how often do you recommend trimming your hair? Um, and yes, my products can be used on locks. I use them on my son's locks on a regular basis. Yes. How often do you recommend trimming your hair? Um, it really depends on how well you take care of your hair. Some people can go long periods of time. I'm not a big fan of trimming just to trim because then you're cutting off progress. It's not necessary. I'm also not a big fan of trimming your hair even every time because you're cutting off progress. Because if you have hair that grows kind of, one side always grows longer than the other one. And then if you always trim it to even up, then you're always trimming it like to the shorter length. And one secret I want to tell you guys too is that if you leave your hair alone and just trim your hair, like if you trim, a half an inch of hair all around and don't do any evening, eventually over time, as your hair grows in, it evens out itself. But people don't understand that. You know why? Because people are always cutting hair. So how could you know? How could you know if you're always cutting hair? But trims, a recommended schedule will be every 3 to 4 months. But if you take care of your hair better, you can stretch it 6. We don't have to cut our hair as much as people say we do because if you're taking care of your hair well, you don't need trims like that. Trims really are made for people, made for when you don't take care of your hair and you have to cut it to keep it healthy. I cut my hair to keep it healthy. No, no, you take care of your hair so you don't have to trim it as much. And then you retain the length. That's how you see some people, you're like, oh, your hair grows so fast. Because people tell me that all the time. Your hair grows so fast. No, I take care of my hair so I don't have to trim it all the time. That's why you see the results from people like that. Okay, let's go back to YouTube and see what we got going on here. Is it healthy to blow dry your hair with heat protectant every week? Hmm. You have to really gauge how your hair responds to that because some people they can do heat like that pretty regularly, but make sure too that you're doing protein treatments a little bit more often if you're putting heat on your hair that often. But if every time your curls start springing back, then I think you're fine. But just don't be using high heat on your hair every week. But I would say gauge it. Do it, one time and then look at your hair. Okay, my hair's okay. Then when you wash it again, if your hair if your curls still spring back, then do it again, you know, and if you wash it again and your curls spring back, then you can do it again. But if you notice that over time your curls start loosening, which some people don't mind because it does help make the hair more manageable. But if you see your hair starting to loosen up, then you probably want to like step back from doing the blow dry so much. Because one thing about heat is a lot of times, regardless of how low it is, a lot of times it'll still stretch our hair depending on our hair. So make sure you're throwing protein treatments up in there too. Okay. Hi, Tiara. All righty. Yes. Okay. Do we have any more questions, comments, anything like that, y'all? I'm so excited. We're back doing classes again. We're going to be doing classes once a month. Yeah. And I'm also I'm going to put this out there, but I'm getting ready to start a membership. It's going to have like exclusive benefits. Yeah. But I'll tell you guys about that a little bit later on down the line. Okay. All right, so if nobody else has any more questions, then I guess I can let you go. Oh, somebody does have a question. All right, my sides are damaged. I keep moisture on it and add oil to seal it, but it's not growing back. Been this way for years. Have you seen a dermatologist or a trichologist? Because you're probably going to do that if you're not getting the growth after doing what you're supposed to do, because they can probably give you some products to help you with that. All right. Okay. I don't know, because if it's been years and you said you've seen a trichologist, then I don't know, you know, what to tell you. Just keep trying. Just do scalp massages, blood flow. That really helps. And vitamins, those help. Okay, Cindy says, my cousin just trimmed my hair and I hate how she trimmed it. Like she was cutting my hair in a bob style. My hair grows very uneven. So I just talked about that. I just talked about that when I said that people cut hair too much. And when you cut hair all the time, you don't understand that hair does even out over time. So whenever you get trims, just trim the hair. So if you have hair that's this long on this side and this long on this side, if you're cutting a half an inch, just cut a half inch here and cut a half inch here. It's going to be uneven, but as you take care of your hair and it starts growing down, you keep doing those trims. After a little bit of time, what I would do in the salon is, the hair would be uneven, but once it grew to like a certain length, after maybe about 18 months, after me doing however many trims I do in the 18-month period, it would start looking a little bit more even, then I would give it a shape. And that's what you have to do. You can't shape the hair all the time because when you do, you're cutting off progress. And I see people do that all the time. That's why, whenever you see the videos on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and stuff, whenever you see those videos and people are literally giving shape, that's what they always do first, instead of, I don't know, everybody goes about it differently. Most people, they want to like start you with a clean slate, but a clean slate doesn't necessarily solve the problem. It doesn't necessarily solve the problem. Our hair grows uneven. It just does. So if you want it to always be even, you're going to have to always cut. But if you want progress, if you want growth, if you want inches longer down your back, then you're going to have to put up with some unevenness for a little bit. It just is what it is. Okay. So Virginia says essential oils might help. Yeah. Rosemary is a very good oil for stopping shedding and stimulating the hair follicles. That is. And tea tree oil is another one, but make sure too, if you're using essential oils, that you put them inside of a carrier oil before you put them directly onto your hair, because putting essential oils directly onto any skin is not good. Okay. Janice, could you please answer my question? Can you type your question in again? I'm sorry. Because I thought I answered it, but maybe I didn't. Or maybe I missed a question. Okay. How often would you say for high porosity hair to use protein and deep conditioner if hair was washed on a weekly basis? I would go with the protein every other week and then deep conditioning every week. High porosity hair, just make sure too that you're adding moisture back in throughout the week because it's going to release the moisture a lot faster than other porosities. And use heavier stuff. You probably want to get products that have more butters, heavier butters and stuff in it. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, okay, Janice. Okay, great. Yeah. Denise, how can we get in touch with you if we need our hair done? Oh, that's so sweet. I'm actually retired. I retired in 2019 due to an injury, so I no longer um, do hair for a living. I did, however, go into salon briefly because I wanted to use my hair on former client. I mean, I wanted to use my products on former clients and stuff and just get their responses from it and stuff. That was really nice. That was just a really good thing. But if I ever open up my books, because sometimes I will do a pop-up. So if I ever open up my books, for anything, I can let my email list know and then we can go from there. Because if you're on my email list, you'll know all these things that are going on. Because that's who I sent like when it was time for me to go into salon, because I went in for 2 months. When it was time for me to go into salon, I sent a mass email out to everybody saying, hey, I'm doing hair. I want to use my products on your hair and stuff like that. And I got a good response from that. So get on my email list if you're not on there. And there's a link, not in this video, but in my previous video, there's a link that you can like sign up. Like if you get on the email list for the free class, then you'll be on my total email list. You'll just be like segmented. But yeah, but every so often I do a pop-up shop. I think I've done it like 3 times. Okay. Are over-the-counter hair vitamins okay to use? Do you have a hair vitamin other than vitamin D that you recommend? I do. Dr. Berg has a hair vitamin that is great. And one thing I love about his hair vitamin is it works. Another thing too is I know a lot of people are zinc sensitive, and every hair vitamin has zinc in it. Zinc makes you sick on your tummy if you don't take it on full stomach. And his hair vitamin has a teeny bit of zinc. The rest of them have a lot. So his is really good. And plus, it's about $40 for a bottle, but it's like a month and a half supply of vitamins for $40. So they're really good. Yeah, so Dr. Berg, I recommend his hair vitamins. I've done other hair vitamins in the past that I've been successful with, but this is the vein I'm in right now with his stuff because it's actually worked the best from what I can see. All right. That hair vitamin. Let me see. Let me pull up his website and I'll put it in chat. No. Okay, here we go. I got it. I'm gonna put it in YouTube and on the chat. This is Dr. Berg, and he's actually on YouTube as well. That's how I found out about him. Young multivitamin. I can't see that for that hard in the way. Vitamin C and vitamin D. Vitamin D is a game changer, y'all. And we don't get enough of it because we get vitamin C from being in the sun. And most people, we're indoors, especially for COVID. We were indoors, we were shut down. And so we don't get enough vitamin D. And most of us nowadays, we sit at our computers for work and stuff. We don't go outside the way that we used to. Back in my day growing up, we was always outside. So we got plenty of vitamin D, but we don't get enough. We would probably have to sit outside for 3 hours to get the amount of vitamin D, that we need on a regular basis. And so the supplements work. But the vitamin D that you need to get is it's like a more pure vitamin D. It's like a liquid form. So your body absorbs it well. But you'll start seeing yourself get better sleep, and you'll start like feeling your hair be revitalized. And if you were having issues with thinness or anything like that, you'll start seeing your hair come back to where it normally was. So I love it. And that's one of the vitamins I use to help revitalize my hair, because my hair was, ooh, well, I could almost cry to think about how terrible a state my hair was in when it was falling out from the HRT. All right. Any other questions, my loves? It's been great. Any other questions? I really appreciate you all. Okay, so please, I would love your support. Check out my hair products. They are really, really formulated for hair like ours. Okay, and look out for emails about the next class and other things I'm going to be doing in the near future. And watch my uploads on YouTube, because I'm trying to upload more regularly and keep you guys, content going and stuff like that. Yeah, it does take time. It's not something that happens overnight, and you have to stay consistent with it. You have got to stay consistent. You can't take it one week and not the next. You got to take it every day for months and months and months. So yeah, it takes time. Yeah. All right, guys. All right, guys.